Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. So for those of you who are new, my name is Sienna, otherwise known here as IHeartAIRBRUsh, and today we are diving into a mixology episode. Yes, it has been a hot minute since I've done an IHeartAIRBRUsh mixology episode. So we are diving in today. So today I'm going to be airbrush duping one of my all-time favorite palettes of the 4 palettes that I actually own and possess. But this is definitely a staple of mine, and I know it's a staple to a lot of other consumers and artists alike, and it is the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. Yes, your girl has airbrush duped the Baked Browns palette, and I'm so excited to go ahead and show you how I did it, what shades I used, and all that good stuff. So if you are interested in seeing how I duped the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette with some Dinair Airbrush makeup shades to achieve this lovely look, yes, one is airbrush, one is traditional. Which one, we're gonna have to find out. And to find out, you're just gonna have to keep on watching. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so it's been a while since I've done some mixology. Pardon the low energy. There's a lot going on in the world today. And once again, this video was not one that I intended to put up, but it is the one that we are putting up because this is honestly what I feel like I should be doing. So I'm going to go with feel. Once again, this week is a little bit emotionally crazy week, but we're gonna get through it. So let's just dive into whatever feels right. So today's video is going to be featuring the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. I would hold it up, but it's like super reflective and everything. But yeah, we're gonna be deep diving into the Baked Browns palette. I absolutely love this 5-pan palette. It has so many beautiful tones in it. The shades are all super easy to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a few close-ups of the palette, and then we will dive into a look on one side of the face using the palette, and then on the other side of the face using my IHeartAIRBRUSH Mixology. I'm going to try to match the look we create with the Dose of Colors. So let's just go ahead and dive right into the close-ups of the palette. Alright, so now that you've seen a close-up of the palette, we know what the colors are, we know what we're working with. I'm going to go ahead and show you some comparison swatches that I did between the shades in the palette and the shades that I created using some mixology along with the Dinair Airbrush makeup shades. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into those comparisons so you can kind of see how close I got on the swatches. Of course, things might look a little differently on the eye, so getting close on the swatches is not a win until after we get it on the eye. So hopefully, because I haven't tested it on the eyes, hopefully we get a win today. Otherwise this video is going to be kind of off, but it's going to be a little awkward, but it's it's okay, because not every day is a win. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and get into those comparison swatches. Alright, so now that you've seen the comparison swatches, you know the palette, you know what we're working with, there's nothing left to do but just dive right in. Let's go ahead and just go in real quick and prep the eyelids. Alright, so now that the eyes are prepped, let's go ahead and dive in with the palette. Now it has been a very long time since I've used traditional shadows, so I'm whipping out brushes that I'm not really sure I know how to use anymore, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So the first shade that I'm gonna go in with, I think, because I'm not that skilled with traditional shadows, I think I'm going to go in with the darkest shade first and just kind of try to blend everything out from the base of the lash line up. So we're going to do that. So the first shade I'm going to go in with in the palette is Rock Bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to the lid. Just going to pat that in to the lid. All right, I think that went okay. So the next shade I'm gonna go in with is called Cherrywood. So let's go ahead and take that into the crease area and just kind of blend out that edge. Cherrywood is such a pretty color. I absolutely love the hue of it. Okay, and then I'm going to dip into Cherrywood and Rock Bottom, and then try to make sure that this part is nicely blended. Blend those two shades together. Oh yeah, that worked. Okay, cool. Nice and smoky already. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to be deep diving into the shade Outdoorsy. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take this blending brush and dip into Outdoorsy. And I'm just going to apply it to the transition. Very pretty. Okay, so now that that is on, I'm going to go ahead and take this pencil brush and I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Tealight and apply that to the tear duct area. Just to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to take another brush and apply some to the brow bone. And that all out too. Makes a nice erasing shade, this Tealight. Good for blending. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to stop on this brown smoky eye. All right, so now for the airbrush side, we are going in with the dupe for Rock Bottom, which is Dinair's dark brown shade. Yes, there's no mixology for this shade. This one is relatively close. I didn't feel like I had to do any mixology with it. I didn't want to tweak it too much. So kind of a boring start, but we will get into the fun mixing stuff in a minute. So just hold on one second, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take Dinair's dark brown in place of a Rock Bottom and apply that to the lid in the same fashion that I did the Rock Bottom on the other eye. We're good. A lot faster. But you know, I'm used to this. I'm used to air shadow, so I expect it to be a lot faster. All right, so the next shade we're going to be diving in with is the dupe for Cherrywood, and for that I mixed 1 part Desert Rose to 1 part Fawn Brown, which are these two shades right here. So we're going to put them together and hopefully we get a close match to Cherrywood. We'll mix it up. Mixing is just back bubbling. So you just want to cover the front of your airbrush and then lightly toggle the lever, and that'll create the back bubbling, which mixes the shades. All right, let's go ahead and apply this to the crease. Okay, I think that's it. It's really close. This is good. This is good. I'm pretty happy right now. All right, so the next shade we're going to be diving in with is the shade Dupe for Outdoorsy, and for that I mixed 1 part Saharan Sunset with 1 part Aphrodite. So we have these two shades right here that we're going to mix together to create the dupe. Okay, and then go ahead and apply that to the upper transition. Okay. Alright, so the last shade we're going to go in with now to complete the shadow look is the dupe for the shade Tealight. And for that I used 1 part Latte with 2 parts light yellow. So we have these two shades here, both from Dinair's Glamour line. And we're going to mix those together to go ahead and create the dupe for Tealight. Okay, let's apply that to the tear duct. And then to the brow bone. Don't layer up too much of that, because the way that airbrush makeup works is it doesn't get buffed into the skin, so it's really easy to get that opaque pigment or that opaque coverage when you start layering with it. So unlike traditional shadow, when you put it down, like you kind of have to build it in order to see that pigment. With airbrush makeup, it only takes a few light passes and all of a sudden the color is like there, bam, in your face. At least with Dinair's airbrush makeup, I know this for sure because, you know, I've been using it since 2012. So like you definitely have to be careful if you are doing some kind of like mixology kind of work to not go too ham on the airbrush shadows in comparison to that of the traditional shadows. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean out my airbrush, and then I'm going to do the rest of the face, and then we're going to come back to the eyes. All right, so now that the base is done, the brows are filled in, we're all good. We're going to go ahead and go back in on the eyes. So I'm going to do eyeliner, and then we're going to do the lower lash line, wrap everything out, and then assess. Okay, so to do liner, I'm going to go in with Dinair's Jet Black, And I'm going to use airbrush eyeliner for both eyes because I don't want to use traditional eyeliner. I don't like it. I want to go in with something that I'm used to using. It's easy to use for me, so I'm just going to go in with my regular airliner spiel deal thing. Okay, so Alright, so now to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go back into the Baked Browns palette, and then of course the corresponding airbrush shades or dupes. So taking my little pencil brush, I'm just going to go in with, we haven't really used Deserted. So let's go in with Deserted first, and then we'll deepen it with Rock Bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to dip into Rock Bottom and apply that to just the outer. There we go. Okay, now for the airbrush. Deserted, I mixed 2 different shades. Looks like I mixed 3. Okay, so this one is heavy on the mixology. So I mixed in 1 part of each. So we have 1 part Sienna, 1 part soft brown, and 1 part Nutmeg to go ahead and dupe that shade. So I'm going to go ahead and mix those in my airbrush and start applying it to the lower lash line. It's not as red toned. It's actually on the eye, so we'll see. Okay, and then I'm going to finish it off with Rock Bottom, which is Dinair's dark brown. Okay, we're just gonna apply that to the outer. Okay, all right, I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm just going to go off and finish the rest of the look. We're going to do some lash, mascara, lippy, and then we are going to do the close-up final assessment of the situation we have at hand. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and finish up. All right, so we're done. Okay, the rest of the face is done. I went ahead and touched up my hair a little bit because it was going kind of crazy. But yeah, so this is the final finished look. What do you guys think? How did I do? I have some comments, but I'm going to let you see first before I go ahead and chime in. So let's go ahead and give you the close-up so you can go ahead and see how this mixology session went. Alright, so I think that this session went pretty darn well. I will say that the only thing that I didn't notice is that the dupe, the mixology dupe that I made for the shade Deserted was not as warm as the Deserted from the actual palette. So when I did the swatches came out pretty freaking close. But then when it's on the eye, I can see now that Deserted is a lot more like ready warm. And this one here is a little bit more neutral muted. So that I think is the only difference between the two. I'm so glad that I was able to use all 5 shades on the eyes today. Because with that, I was able to go ahead and see all of the shades actually on and everything to see how close I got. And I think on the rest of them, I got pretty darn close. I honestly couldn't tell a difference between the two. I asked my husband and he couldn't tell which side was airbrush or not, which is odd because he always knows when I'm wearing airbrush. So yeah, I think I did pretty darn good, but of course I will let you guys be the judge. So if you can go ahead and tell me how I did in the comment section below, that would be very helpful. I would be most grateful. But yeah, so out of the 5 shades in the Baked Browns palette, it took a total of 10 Dinair shades to go ahead and dupe those. So if you have these Dinair shades, because these are pretty basic shades, they're all neutral brown. So if you already have these shades, you can definitely create the same looks that you see other people creating or that you would be able to create with the Baked Browns palette. And I want to go ahead and point out that this whole mixology series that I do here and all of the mixology that I try to go ahead and show you guys and showcase to you guys is not only so you can swap shades, like traditional makeup shades with airbrush shades, but it's also so that you can use traditional makeup in conjunction with airbrush makeup, so that you can use them both together alongside each other to go ahead and finish your looks, whether you're working on yourself or you're working on clients. So I found, like, working on clients and also just working on other people, friends and family and things like that, that a lot of people are very uncomfortable when you airbrush eyeliner and when you airbrush the lower lash line. So a lot of the times what I will do is I will find a shade that pairs well with the eyeshadow that I put on top, because I'm a lot faster with eyeshadow and blending. So anytime I'm doing makeup on somebody else, be it a friend or a client, I like to go in with the airbrush because I'm a lot faster and I feel like my precision is a lot better using the airbrush. So I like to go in with the airbrush on top, but if they're showing discomfort, I don't want to put them through something that's going to make them even more uncomfortable. So I will go ahead and dip into shades from traditional palettes, so traditional powder shadows, and use it in conjunction for the lower lash line, just for the lower lash line. And I find people are just a lot more relaxed and a lot more comfortable. They don't have to worry, and at the end of the day, as long as the person is happy with the overall look, it's a good day. So that is about it for this video. I hope this video has inspired you. I hope that you learned a little something from it. If you did, or even if you found it entertaining, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out a ton. And as always, sharing this video helps me out also. So if you have the platform for it, please go ahead and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. And remember to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you are subscribed, or if you choose to subscribe today, which thank you very much, please don't forget to hit that little bell icon right next to the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. That way you can go ahead and see more videos from me popping up in your feed. Alright loves, thank you so much again for watching. I'm sorry that things have been a little different lately. Hopefully we'll get back to our normal or a sense of normalcy soon. But yeah, until then, I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy and well during this time. I want to thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!